1.
Says we're live.
We are
I
live.
get when we're live. Because if we're not live, that's not a good thing. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Skip Clark here. Skip Happens. And of course, right there, you see her. Well, if you're looking at your screen like I am, it's the bottom right. That's Deb Lamphere. She is the president, the official country music fan club here in the Northeast. And of course, tonight we have a special guest. And really, she's not that far away. Yeah, what, 4.5 hours maybe right now. She's in Brooklyn. Y'all say hi to Lauren Jaimes. And there she is. Lauren is a up-and-coming country artist, and you'll see her video in just a little while. We're going to play it here on the podcast. You know, think of Kacey Musgraves. That's when I see her, I think of Kacey Musgraves. There's something about it. And that's a good thing. That's a really good thing.
She's my favorite. Yeah, I love her.
Really? Well,
yeah, she's great.
There it is. There she is, Lauren Jaimes, and she is in Brooklyn, New York, right in Brooklyn.
Right down the road.
Yes.
How are you? It's good to meet you finally. We've been talking, emailing back and forth and stuff like that, but it's a pleasure to meet you. And
it's so nice to meet you. Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I didn't realize you were so close either. You're just right in Syracuse. That's amazing.
Yep. Yeah, you could have hopped in the car and maybe come up to Thruway, and we could have done this in the pod zone in person. But
I have family up there actually, so next time.
Really?
We'll have to do that. Yeah.
In the Syracuse area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow, how very cool.
Yeah, so I've been up there quite a few times to visit them. So next time I'm up, maybe I'll let y'all know and we can do something. That'd be fun.
Yeah, we can definitely get you into the pod zone with Deb and I, and also we'll get you into the radio station as well, and maybe we could put your talents in front of a lot of new listeners.
That'd be so cool, yeah.
I'm going to ask the question that I'm sure you've been asked a million times. I know you've been on a lot of podcasts and you've been interviewed a lot lately, a lot of different areas and ways and what have you, but we want to know about Lauren Jaimes. All right, let's take it back and start from the beginning.
Yeah, sure. So I actually grew up in a musical household. My mom and dad were missionaries in South America before I was born. And the way that they, spread the gospel was by writing Christian music and playing at different churches in the different countries down there. So they moved to Miami, had me. And so I grew up with my dad playing music all the time around the house. And so he really inspired me to pick up the guitar and start writing. And I moved to New York a few years ago. Never really thinking of music as a career. It was more of a hobby for me. I've always been a little bit shy. I love writing and playing, but never really had the courage to get on stage until I moved here. There's some kind of energy or witchcraft going on, but it got me on stage. And now I'm full force going at it, and I absolutely love it. So,
how old? You said you started playing the guitar. How old were you when you started doing that?
I think I got my first guitar when I was about, I want to say 8 or 9.
Okay.
Yeah, so pretty young. Yeah.
And did you learn it by yourself, or did you end up taking lessons, or how did all that come?
I learned guitar by myself. My dad helped a little bit with questions. And I grew up as well playing flute, so I was a band kid my whole life. So that was my primary instrument, was flute, a little bit of piano. I took piano lessons. But yeah, guitar, I taught myself. So. Were
you like in the high school marching band?
Yeah, yes, I was actually. We didn't march though. It was such a small school. We just played on the bleachers. So.
Okay, I got it. No, I was in the marching band. I used to play it was called a cornet. But very similar to a trumpet. Mm-hmm. So that's why I was asking it way back in the day, long time ago. So.
Yeah.
Did you ever play an instrument?
Long time ago. Me? Yes.
What did you do?
I actually started out playing the flute.
Yes.
Right. And to this day, I remember Mary Had a Little Lamb. After that, I forget everything else.
I don't know if I could pick the trumpet up again. But anyway, so that's kind of cool. So you started at the age of 9, and here you are. Why or how did you end up in Brooklyn? I mean, when you think country music, you don't really think a lot about like Brooklyn or Manhattan or, New York, So
Yeah, definitely not. Well, I've grown up in Florida my whole life. Grew up in Miami and then went to Florida State in Tallahassee for my undergrad. And then after that, I wanted to move somewhere northern. I had actually never seen snow in my whole life, which sounds like a silly thing to want to go see, but I wanted to do something up north. So I had friends in New York, so I came here and settled down in Brooklyn. And then I met my fiance here, who really, I started playing a few things for him because it was, again, a hobby of mine. And he really encouraged me to get out there and was like, this is what you should be doing. So that's the story in a nutshell. Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a little, convincing or, a
little push for sure.
Little push to go out and do it and don't look back. So tell us a little bit more about your music. I mean, I mentioned Kacey Musgraves, and when I look at you, I can see the Kacey Musgraves. I don't know there's something about that, but tell me about your music. Tell us about your music, your songwriting. How do you come up with your ideas and what have you?
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I definitely have a mostly country vibe with a little bit of folk and Americana in there. The way that I write is mostly from a storytelling perspective, and that's why I am so in love with the country genre and felt that was the best one for me to sort of assimilate myself in and write in, just because of that storytelling, that authenticity that comes with a lot of country music. I absolutely love that. And I love Kacey Musgraves. So that's so funny that you said that. I love that she's so witty and she's outside of the box. She doesn't really care what anybody thinks about her. And her country music is a little bit off the beaten path. She's kind of done her own thing and it's been wildly successful, obviously. But so that's pretty much how I chose or got into country in the first place. Yeah.
Now, tell us about your latest single, the song that are you pushing it to radio? Or what's going on with that?
Yes. So the latest single, Home Is Where You Are, we wanted to do a single and a video at the same time. This was my first single release and first music video. So we just went ahead and just did that all at once. My previous project was an EP called Here to Stay that I put out in 2018. So it's been a couple of years promoting that. And then this time we wanted to have a visual to go along with the music. And we thought this would be a really fun song for that. It's upbeat, happy, feel good. So we thought that would just be perfect to put a music video to.
Exactly. I'm going to bring it up into the screen. So just if you see things happen, there you go. We just went, you're going to see it in the lower right-hand side. I'm going to click on this video for a minute. And I know I'm going to take, because that name is right over Deb's face. So where'd you go, Deb? Are you there? Okay, let's do that. There you go. All right. So we don't want to lose you, Deb. All right. I'm going to play a little bit of the video. Let's see how this goes. And you can actually. That's echoing back a little bit, but
bathroom towels on me, pillows on sofa seats. Never been a thing I thought I'd need. So what makes a house a home? Did you know that there's nothing in this world I'd rather do? Oh, spend my time running around with you. So take me home where I belong. You know my home is where you are. California, Texas, Tennessee. As long as you are next to me, my home is where you are. I own one pair dusty cowgirl boots. I have to call a 6-string, but she don't compare to you. Mama always said to me, ain't no sense loving material things. You can't bring them to heaven when you leave. So what makes a house a home? Did you know that there's nothing in this world I'd rather do? All than spend my time running around with you. So take me home where I belong. You know my home is where you are. California, Texas, Tennessee, as long as you are next to me. My home is where you are.
Yeah.
So take me home where I belong. You know my home is where you are. Talladega, Tampa, tell you right, as long as you are by my side. My home is where you are. My home is where you are.
Even got him involved. Yeah. That is-
So how much fun? How much fun did you have making that video?
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. It didn't feel like work at all. We actually, my fiance Forrest, who was in the video with the harmonica, he was actually the director. So this was his vision for the song, which is super cool. It turned out amazing. And then everyone that you see there, for the most part, is a good friend of ours. We have a great artist community in New York City, and so we had the resources to pull in actors and dancers who are good friends of ours to come and be a part of it, which was so cool. And then at the very end, you see that little dog. That's our little rescue dog. So Delilah. So we pulled her in at the last second. We thought it'd be fun to have her in there.
Very cool. I'd be tripping over my own 2 feet. I could not do that, but that was excellent. And it's nice to be in that community where you have a lot of friends, that you got your dancers and you got your singers. And of course, you're the lead, and having your fiance being able, he must, you said he's a producer, or what does he do?
So he's an actor, and he does do some directing and producing as well.
Excellent.
So,
See, that's a match right there. That's a match.
Yeah.
That's really a match. Does
So
he?
between the two of you, you have the whole thing.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Does he sit down and help you write it all?
He does actually. Yeah, I'll come up with sort of a rough draft, if you will, of like a new song, and I'll have him always look at it before, just to get a second set of eyes on it and help me with anything that needs to be changed or that maybe isn't coming across correctly, and so he's a really big help, definitely.
Very cool. Very cool. So tell me, how is it living in Brooklyn right now? I mean, you're right in the heart of everything that's going on. And, last night when we were scheduled for last night, and all of a sudden I got really worried. God, I hope she's okay. And thinking about everything that's going on and, not knowing exactly where you were, just kind of, we were worried about you.
Yeah, thank you. Again, I'm so sorry. It's been pretty crazy here. It's all over the news. It's been the last I think 5 days or so of the protesting, and then of course tonight we have the 8 p.m. curfew. So I'm inside for the rest of the night. But yeah, it's definitely, the city is very, very alive at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How is this whole quarantine thing been working out with you guys? You doing all right?
Yeah, we're doing all right. We actually were in St. Louis, Missouri for 2 months. So we just got back to Brooklyn a couple of days ago.
Oh.
So we haven't been here. We sort of came back sort of in the middle of when the protesting had started.
Do you have family out there, or were you guys out there for work and got
Yeah,
stuck?
we have family out there. My fiance's sister and her husband live out there, and we right right before, just a few days before the coronavirus really hit and everything was shut down, we were getting this feeling maybe we should, get out of here and go spend some time with family while we can, thinking it was going to be maybe 2 weeks or something. And of course, 2 months later, we were like, okay, maybe we should head back now and, get back home. But it was really nice, at least, to be able to hang out with some family during the time.
Yeah. And it's important that you do that, of course. And being in Brooklyn, right in the epicenter of the coronavirus, the COVID-19 itself, I mean, that had it was good that you did get away for a little bit, I think, when we're at the peak of it. So hopefully now we're going to be moving on. I know here in upstate New York, we're already in phase 2 and things are starting to open up. And now today they made the big announcement that outdoor seating at restaurants, they can start doing that as long as everything is like 6 feet apart and what have you. So.
Yeah, they're doing the same in Missouri as well. But yeah, New York City is definitely gonna take a little while longer. It's so condensed here. It's just gonna be more difficult, I think. Yeah. But I do hope to get my hair cut at some point.
I got mine yesterday, so I'm pretty excited. It was great. It was great sitting there getting my hair cut. I'm like, yes, finally.
I bet.
I finally got in there today too. It's just relaxing. You get a little bit of time to yourself to just do nothing.
Yeah, but the person cutting your hair, they've got a shield on and they've got the mask on and they've got the gloves on and they look like Darth Vader. It's crazy. But I know we all have to be safe. And of course, I had to have the mask on, and then they put a plastic. It looks like a clear plastic bag over you. Then they put the cape over that, and then it's like, wow.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, and you can't touch the beard. They can't do it. Not that I have one, but my son has one, and he got his haircut yesterday. But they're not allowed to trim the beard or anywhere around the mouth. They could do the back of the neck and all that, but they can't do that. They're not allowed to. So it's crazy. So being in New York and being a country music artist, I mean, are there places that you can go out and play, or do you, when you can, do you have venues that will put you up on their stage and places?
Yeah, definitely. There is a really great, especially like in the Brooklyn area, kind of singer-songwriter, kind of folky vibe, which I also sort of appeal to. So there is definitely a group in New York that loves country music. We're right next to Jersey, which absolutely loves country music. And there are a few, especially female artists in New York City who are really taking it by storm, and I've seen doing all kinds of great things. So I think country music is finally sort of passing through, and this is the moment that it's starting to become more popular, more accepted in the city.
I love it. Yeah, because there used to be a country radio station in the city that moved out. Now it's like it'd be great if it came back again, and it just might be. But I remember when all that change went down, I'm like, why? And they say nobody in New York listens to country. I said, you're so wrong. You're so wrong. They do listen.
Yeah, that's definitely changing here. And LA as well has you wouldn't think, but has a big population that does love country music. So it's exciting. I'm hoping, because I am partly a city girl. I grew up in Miami, so I do love the city, but I also feel very drawn to this genre. And my family's originally from Paducah, Kentucky, which is a super small town. So I kind of have the best of both. And it's nice to be able to mesh those together and not just have to pick one over the other. You've
been all over Kentucky, Miami, Brooklyn. You've got relatives in upstate New York. Your fiance.
I know. I really am. I'm all over the place. I feel like we're always traveling. We just got family out everywhere, which is nice. Yeah.
Yeah, you got people to stay with.
Yeah. You don't have to pay for a hotel.
Right.
Have you been out to Nashville with your music?
Say that again?
Have you been out to Nashville with your music?
I have not played yet in Nashville, but I do use a producer out in Nashville for all of my music. So what we do is I'll have a rough demo of a song. I'll send it his way. When I think it's ready, he'll do the production, send it back. I'll go record vocals in a studio in Brooklyn, and then I'll send those back. And then he'll mix and master it. So I had looked for a producer in New York for a long time, but I couldn't find anybody that really fit the sound that I wanted. And then I was like, oh, duh, I should just look in Nashville and see if someone can do it remotely. And I found someone awesome. So we've been working together on all my projects so far. So I do hope, though, to go down and do sort of a little, week or two long run in Nashville and kind of dip my toe in the water there. But that'll be in the future, near future.
Excellent. I stand corrected about the radio station in New York City. Forrest is on here, and he's right. 94.7 is still country in New York City. So, but I remember when Nash and all that. I mean, there was this big hoop-de-doo. Something happened, and country was not there for a little bit. I don't believe it.
Yeah. I know they've had like a few festivals too that have been, New York City country festivals that have only gone on like a year or two, and then they scrapped it. But that was years ago, so I'm hoping that that they do start bringing that kind of stuff back, because I think it's time. I feel like the city is ready for it.
Have you done any like what we call private listener showcases or anything like that? Have you? A lot of radio stations have that type of theme where they'll bring a new artist in, such as yourself, and put you up on a stage, and then you win your way in, and you get to meet and greet a lot of new fans, and people get to listen to your music. Have you done things like that?
Right. I have not done anything like that yet. Okay. With this new single, we've been talking to different radio promotion execs and trying to see what the best method would be to do those sort of radio tours. So we're looking into it for Home Is Where You Are. If it doesn't happen with this song, just because of the coronavirus and we've had to be inside this whole time, just with the timing of that, definitely for the next song, I plan on that being a big part of the marketing release.
The reason I was asking, and Deb can talk a little bit about this as well, being the president of the Country Music Fan Club, she puts a lot of shows together. And I bring the radio station into it. She brings what she's doing into it. And Deb, you can explain that a little bit if you'd like.
So when you are ready to come back and visit your relatives in Syracuse, hopefully, well, you may want to come when it snows. I don't know. But what we'll do is we'll actually put an event together for you, and we'll fill a venue and give you an audience. So we get to introduce you to some new fans and introduce our fans to a new artist. So it ends up being a win-win, because we get the vibe of, Nashville, a vibe of some new country music out our way. So we have a lot of fun doing that.
That would be so much fun. I would love that. I love Syracuse, and we do have quite a few family and friends out there. So that'd be amazing. Just kind of do like a big night, big showcase. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, that would be so much fun.
And we definitely take good care of you. So if you're coming to perform for us, we take care of you. So
I would love to.
Yeah, we'd love to have you as well. Forrest Weber. Do you know Forrest? The way he's coming. Let me slide this over here. Hang on a minute. Hang on. Yeah, this is cool. There he is. You once played in Syracuse, he said.
I did. I played one time. It was, and I can't remember now where it was. I don't know if Forrest remembers. It was a little while ago at a bar, and they didn't have any kind of setup or anything, but they were like, play. So I had my guitar on me, so I brought it out and did like a little mini set, and it was a ton of fun. Everyone was super nice. I'll try to remember where that was, but Syracuse is such a super friendly town, and I absolutely loved it. So I can't wait to get back and play again.
You definitely want the snow. I don't know what's wrong with you, girl. No, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. We just, when we get it. So
yeah, there's more snow here than there is in Brooklyn. So
yes, there definitely is. It does get a little bit colder for sure. Yeah.
So how do you like living in Brooklyn? Can I ask?
Yeah, I do like it. It's Forrest and I joke. It feels like our graduate school program, just sort of like a crash course in how to be an adult and, live life and start, getting on your feet. And we have had a great time here. and I think we've been here 5 or 6 years now, I think.
Wow. Okay.
And we're hoping to move to California, though, at some point. I'm such a beach girl, being from Miami, and so we've had such a great time here. But yeah, the end location, end goal is going to be where the sunshine is, I think.
Very good. Well, you never know, your future. I mean, your talent in the video, I think you've got a great career ahead of you.
Thank you.
That is excellent. And you just keep pushing forward, and who knows where you're going to end up, which is a good thing. And when Deb was asking about Nashville, you definitely need to come out to Nashville or go out to Nashville. They have every year. Deb and I have been doing this for about 10 years together. We go to the country radio seminar in Nashville. And I've been doing that for close to 20 years, but Deb, it's about the last 10 or so that we've become really, really close friends and really getting her business rolling. And with my connections on the radio side of things, it's a great partnership. And but the country radio seminar is where you get in front of a lot of programmers, a lot of record people, a lot of managers, a lot of everybody, which is really you can't beat that. So
yeah, I'd like to go down for that at some point, and then the CMA Fest as well would be a really fun time to go down. Hopefully next year we'll be able to make it down there. I feel like it'll be good timing.
Yeah, the country radio seminar, if I'm not mistaken, Deb, that's usually like what, mid-February, end of February?
Yeah, that's in February. Yeah. Yeah. I think they have it scheduled for like President's Week next year.
Okay,
And
cool.
then CMA Fest. Now we're supposed to be down there right now for CMA Fest. I have a hole in my heart right now. I've been going to that for like 20 years in a row.
Yeah.
We go every year. We've grown our party to about 40, 50 people now. So next year, if you're at CMA Fest, I'll have you come on over. I have a ready-made audience for you right in our Airbnb backyard.
Yes, definitely. That sounds so fun.
And we'll probably be doing the podcast from there as well. So
really
really
cool.
You'll
have to do it while you're playing Flip Cup, though.
Oh yeah, even better.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Now, living, I know I don't mean to get a little bit personal, but it's expensive to live in New York City. And you're an artist that's trying to get out there. You've got a lot of, I'm sure you've got a lot of things on your mind. And, can I just ask, how big is your apartment? Are they tiny?
Yeah. So they are very tiny, for the most part, but and it sounds crazy, but we live in a 5-bedroom house in the middle of Brooklyn. So we have, I guess there's 6 of us.
Okay.
For any given time, there's 6 or 7 of us in the house, and it is big, and there's a backyard, which is great for the dog. So we have been able to cut costs because there's so many roommates.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. It's almost like kind of like an artist, like frat house or something, if you will. Everybody is some kind of artist or actor or poet or something, and so it's a lot of fun. But yeah, it's not bad at all. And the rooms are a little bit bigger here, just because it is in Brooklyn, and because there are so many people. It's like an actual house.
How long does it take you to get to let's say you want to get down to Times Square? It's got to be pretty quick, right?
Yeah, well, it's not too bad. On the subway, I'm right by the J train. So to get to Times Square, depending on the time, it would probably take about 45 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Which isn't too bad. But yeah, just to get from here to Manhattan, it's about 25 minutes.
Yeah. You probably got all that train stuff down, right? Get on, get off.
I finally do. Finally. It took a really long time. It's extremely confusing. There's really no rhyme or reason to it at all. But it is convenient. I'm not taking it now, though. We're not sure when we're going to take it again next, just because of all the coronavirus stuff. I don't.
Right. Me, I wouldn't be doing it. I'm just saying, I wouldn't be doing it. Maybe you differently, but
are they still running? The trains and subways
they are. Yeah, I can hear it actually from my apartment. They are still running. and but there's like nobody on them. But in the past, it's been like sardines. I mean, you're right up next to on either side. I don't know how it could ever be like that again, ever after this. I'm not sure what they're going to do to regulate it, but
right. It's crazy. We don't know. I don't know if anybody really knows. Let's get back to your music a little bit. Songwriting. Do you get out and write with others besides just right there in your own place, or do you actually go out somewhere and write? You know, like maybe like what they call a writer's night.
Yeah, there are a few like writing clubs in the city. I've gone to a couple of meetings. I've done a lot of writing with more remotely, I feel like, just because it is kind of hard to get around New York sometimes. So I've done some online stuff, but just for practice, I haven't put out any songs yet that have been a collaborative song, except for, I guess, just I am good at flip cup. That's true. I am very good at it.
That's what I was laughing at before when I read that comment.
Not so good at beer pong. I don't know why, but the flip cup, for some reason,
she's got it down.
I've got it down. I don't know. I don't know why. But yeah, I am always open for writing with other people. It can be really fun.
Very, very cool. And what about now we talk about Kacey Musgraves and we're talking about the female artist. And here again, I'm loving what you're doing because I feel we need more females on the radio. I don't think we have enough of those. And just keep pushing and keep doing it. And hopefully we'll be hearing you a whole lot more on the radio.
Thank you. Yes.
What about artists in general? Is there somebody that you really look up to? I mean, maybe it's Kacey Musgraves. I know we talked about that before, but is there like a Kenny or a Tim or somebody like that really is a big influence on what you do and how you write and perform?
Yeah, it sounds kind of silly because it's not a country artist, the first person that comes to mind, but I grew up listening to a lot of 60s and 70s music, so my heart really lies with, especially for the writing, Roy Orbison and Don McLean. Are two of my absolute favorite writers. They're just incredible. So those have been huge influences on me. Kacey, of course, is as well. And then Kelsey Ballerini, I love to follow. Also, Johnny Cash, I love.
What about like on the Americana side of things? I know Dierks Bentley was doing a lot of bluegrass early on in his career and stuff like that. Americana is something that I know you enjoy.
Yes, I do enjoy Americana and folk as well. Kind of like the John Prine was so great. His sound I love. The story, he's a great storyteller too. So yeah, there's so many great artists in all of those genres. I think that are great storytellers as well. Very
cool. What about the the Hank Williams and throwing it way back? Some of that. I know you got Johnny Cash, but still there's, you got your Hank Williams and people like that from way back in the day.
Yeah, definitely. We do listen to a lot of older country as well. My fiance is actually from San Antonio.
Oh.
So if there's ever, a song that I don't know or something, I mean, he's like right there, like with all of the older country stuff. That's what he grew up with. So we do listen to that all the time as well. Like so George Strait is like a huge example. We've always got him on. Yeah.
He's the king. How can you not?
Right.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
And he's the greatest guy too. I mean, he was at CRS with us.
Oh, wow.
A couple of years ago, Deb, 2 years ago, maybe. But he was at the Ryman, or was it more? Maybe time is flying. It could have been 5
I
years.
know. It was one of those places. We've seen so many artists. It's been great.
Yeah, and that's the more reason you need to go, especially to the country radio seminar, because you never know who you're going to run into or network with or just hang out and have a drink with.
That's so true.
You never know, and it's pretty cool.
Well, actually, you can have they had the big ping pong tournament this year, so there were a lot of good artists that were just mingling and having a good time playing ping pong.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
You see a lot of the artists that in a way that you normally wouldn't see them.
Right. They're real life. You see them
Right.
in the real life, which is kind of
Yeah.
fun.
Exactly.
That is so cool.
Exactly. So, are you all right? So you put out the EP. Is there another one coming up in the near future? Do you think you've got enough music to maybe put more tracks down and release another EP or a full length album?
Yeah, definitely. We're working on right now, hoping to make it a full album. There are quite a few songs that I want to get into the studio and record. It's just been, of course, this time. I have a couple that are in production right now, but I can't go into the studio quite yet to do the vocals. But we're hoping sometime at the end of this year we'll have something together that we'll be able to put out. And we're working on another video as well for a new song that hasn't been released yet. So definitely a lot of projects in the deck. So as soon as all of this Corona stuff is over, we're right back to work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You will be very excited to get out and get to do that too.
I know. I can't wait. I've really been learning to live very, very minimally. I never thought I could, but didn't need that haircut, I guess, didn't need my nails done or anything. So it's been nice. But yeah, it'll be exciting when we get to go outside and, feel like a human again.
Do you have no,
I keep talking right over you.
Delay, and sometimes we cut each other off, and it's not meant to be that way. And
go ahead.
But do you have like a studio right there in your apartment? Do you have a place where you can sit down and record, or do you actually go out to a studio in New York City or somewhere else?
Yeah. So as much space as we do have, it is still very small compared to other parts of the U.S., of course. And I do have a ton of recording equipment, but it's not the best setup acoustically to be doing anything other than a rough demo.
Sure.
So I'll do demos in my room. I have everything set up for that. But when it comes to the vocals that are going to be on a track that I release, I have a studio out in Brooklyn with a friend who runs it, and I'll go in there and do. He has like the vocal booth and the whole thing set up. Nice. So yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Very cool. I'm pausing because I think Deb wants to ask a question.
Getting ready for that delay there. I was waiting.
I know.
No, I was just curious. Are you doing this full time, or do you have another job that you were doing before quarantine? Yeah,
so it definitely is a full-time thing. And what's been so great about quarantine is, the one silver lining of quarantine has been that there has been so much extra time to be able to devote to working on all the music. But I do also bartend like a couple nights a week when I'm not working on the music, just to pay some of those extra New York City bills.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, that's the way to go.
Yeah. So if you ever want to know how to make a drink, you just let me know.
I'm an easy guy. I'm an easygoing guy because just a blue light and I'm happy. That's all.
Yeah.
Just give him a beer.
Mug. Yeah.
I'm a little more.
I don't have all those fruity drinks and all that, all these fancy things. But if I do, then there's something wrong.
Yeah.
I love it. So tell me a little bit about your family. Is your family musical background? Do they have some sort of background in music?
Yeah. So my dad mostly, he was playing since he was very, very young, recording music. He came out with two different albums, all in Spanish. So he wrote Christian Spanish music, was his niche, I guess. It was in South America. I think he sold over 100,000 albums while he was doing that, which is really crazy. And then we came back to Miami, and he stopped doing music just because it does involve so much touring. And going around the country, especially then, there wasn't streaming or all these online things that you can do.
Sure.
And he wanted to spend time with my sister and I. So he, that then he started playing around the house and stuff, but not professionally so much anymore. And then his mom was actually a fantastic piano player, my grandma.
Wow.
So that's where most of the music comes from, I think, is that side.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. Your blood. Maybe that's a sign of things to come for you. I mean, your
I
dad,
hope so.
yeah, your dad went out and sold 100,000 copies of an album. That's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. So, wow, it's crazy, crazy stuff. So you've been all over the place, and just and now just getting your career started. You're attempting to live your dream, and I could see it happening. And don't look back, keep looking ahead. And we're gonna have to play your song on the radio here, get a little test spin, and then we'll take it from there. And we need you to come up north here, girl. We need you to make the trip, hop in the car or the truck, or if you don't have one, get a rental and come on up. I was gonna ask about the car. Now, living in New York City, you don't need a car, you don't need a vehicle.
You don't. We actually, though, since this coronavirus had happened, we just got back and we actually bought a car a couple of days ago. So we're ready to head to Syracuse at the drop of a hat for sure. Because we were primarily reliant on the subway, and we just didn't know if that was going to be an option anymore. So we pulled the trigger on getting a car for now.
Is it like parked in one of those? I know when I go to New York City, I see that you get to see a parking lot, but the cars are on top of each other.
Yeah.
I'm trying
They
to.
are. Yeah, we that costs a lot of money, believe it or not.
I'm
So
sure.
I'm all piled like that. So we have some street parking. So hopefully it's.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Okay. So I'm thinking of like right in the heart of the city is where you see those. When you walk around Times Square, you see the parking where the cars are on top of each other. And it's like $50 for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
it's crazy. It's crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. So what's next for Lauren Jaimes? What's going on?
Yeah. So next, just working on the new music. Been doing a lot of writing and promoting the new single, and hopefully next we'll be doing some shows out on the road and getting in the studio. That's what I'm hoping for.
And what about a website? A place where we can have, if somebody's watching this or listening to this, that they want to find out more about you. I mean, you've got to be on social media. You got to have a website.
Yes. So the website is laurenjamesmusic.com. So James, as you know, is Jaimes. And it's actually, that's not my real last name, but I chose that name because my parents' names are James and Jamie.
Wow.
And they both have just been such a big influence on me. So I squished their names together and I made that my artist name. And my mom has always been so supportive of everything I've been doing, which has been amazing. I don't know if I told you guys, I was able to get the video on cmt.com for a couple of weeks, which was like a huge, like so exciting,
Wow.
really rewarding.
Yeah.
And my mom sent me this very, very cute care package like the next day. Oh, congratulations. So that was very cute. So she's always been supportive of me as well. So it's really nice because I know not everybody has that, but to have two parents that really, really, support what I'm doing is nice to have. Yeah.
What is it what does it take to get your video on CMT? How did you go about getting that done?
Yeah, that was a lot of emailing. And that's the side that people don't
Right,
see
exactly.
is sitting at the computer for a few hours every day, and especially being an indie artist, kind of cold emailing, cold calling, kind of taking a chance. And my distributor, though, Symphonic Distribution is what I use to put this video out on all the different platforms, and they were instrumental in helping me get onto CMT and helping me get onto Vivo's country playlist, which was super cool as well.
And when you first saw it on CMT, what was that reaction like?
I was just floored. I was so excited. They are the authority on country music. So it felt like, oh, maybe I can do this if I put enough into it, and really pursue it. So, every artist has those doubts, and then other times it's, oh, everything is going really well, and oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Always ping-ponging. And this was one of those moments where I was like, oh, okay, good. I'm on the right track then.
You're on the right track.
I think I would have been going nuts. I think I'd be like jumping up and down, running like on the couch, off the couch. I'd be going, come here, look at this. Oh my gosh, they're right
here. I know, yeah. I told everybody I knew. I was so excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have every right to be. I think that is so cool. What about like GAC or some of the other avenues for the country music?
Yeah, so I'm still working on those, still emailing. But yeah, my breakthrough was the CMT, but I'm definitely still trying to get it on the other platforms and other authorities as well.
Well, if you get a hold of GAC, well, Susanna Alexander, tell her that Skip Clark told you to get a hold of her. Because she's a very good friend of mine, and she's with GAC. She does a lot of television work anyways. But
oh, wonderful. Okay, great. Thank you.
Susanna Alexander, she is awesome. Awesome.
Amazing. Yeah. I would love to GAC.
Yeah, absolutely. If you let me ask you this before we let you go tonight. If you could give advice to any female artist that just starting out, you're already a little bit ahead, but let's say somebody is just starting out. This is what they want to do. What advice would you give that young lady?
Yeah. So, well, my particular thing for me was the stage fright, as you know, was actually getting up there. That was like my thing I wasn't so sure about. But I had this pull that kept telling me, like, you got to do this, you got to face it head on and just conquer it. And I would just say, if there's any little thing, that's holding you back or you're unsure of, there's always that little voice that's telling you to do it. Listen to that little voice, and don't be afraid to face that fear head on, whatever it may be. Whether you're uncomfortable with writing music, you're uncomfortable maybe with the melodies or something. There are people who want to help you and want to see you succeed, and don't be afraid to ask for help, and don't be afraid to just face it head on, because if it's something you want to do, you're going to do it.
Do you still get that stage fright though? That initial, and the reason I'm asking that, as long as I've been doing radio, and it's been a long time, there's times, well, I can't do it right now because of everything that's going on, but we'd get out, we do the presents for a lot of different shows, and it doesn't matter how long, for example, I've been doing this, it's that initial like, oh my God, look at all those people. Okay, I'm scared to death. But once you get out there and you start talking, or maybe in your case, you start singing, it kind of like all goes away. You know what I mean? It's like, it's that initial looking and seeing, what you're going to be standing or playing in front of. And then once you start, it just kind of fizzles away, and it's like, I'm right at home. So.
Right. Yeah, I definitely still do get that feeling. And what I've realized over the years is that it's actually the time right before you're going on stage that is the absolute worst. And then, yeah, like you said, once you're on there, it's a lot better and a lot easier. But it's good too to have that fight or flight kind of kick in, because it gets you going, and I think it adds a lot of energy, whether it's enjoyable or not. That feeling, it's not so enjoyable for me, but I think it helps with the performance and getting going.
Very cool. You've got a great future ahead of you. You've got the backing. When you have the backing of your parents, and you have the backing of, you got your fiance who's really pushing you to do what you love, which I think is awesome. It's just that partnership really helps, and your friends, and being in an area where you've got a lot of support. Like we talked a while ago, you've got the dancers and the singers, and you've got this group of people that you're hanging with. All that support, everybody together, just really, you've got it going, girl. You've definitely got it going. So.
I do. I'm very, very lucky to have all that support.
Yeah. And we're going to get you up here, right?
That's for sure.
Right, Deb? We're going to get her up here to do a show, right?
No, Definitely. I can't wait for the fall. I'm going to have this big, like 4-day country event, I think, because I keep
Yay!
accumulating all these great
Oh,
artists that we meet, and we're just not going to sleep.
What we've been thinking about doing is a lot of, we've been doing the podcast for some time now and talking to a lot of new artists and a lot of well-established artists as well, as you're aware. But a lot of these newer artists, we've been thinking about whether we've had them on the podcast. We'd like to bring them together for a show in the fall. Once we can do that, once we're allowed to do something, we're going to do that. It's just,
I'm so in. That sounds so much fun.
It would be, I guaranteed, and not just saying it, it would be a riot. It would be well, nope, I shouldn't say that word, right? But I know, I didn't mean it that way, though. It would be a lot of fun. It would be a lot of fun.
It would be lots of flip cup and lots of meshing up ideas and meeting new people. It sounds amazing.
Wow. Yeah, Forrest says you're pretty much a pretty good at flip cup. So
it's true. I don't know why, but
well, that's okay. It's all good. Lauren, again, what's your website?
It's laurenjamesmusic.com, JAIMES.
And they can find out all about you, the bio and everything. Do you have any what I want, Chachi stuff? I'm talking about merchandise. Thank you. I just had a serious brain fart. I don't know what happened. I got to have another cup of coffee.
Yeah.
But is there merchandise on there too? Somebody wants to get something?
There is. Yes, there is merchandise on there. If you want to stay up to date with music and new videos and stuff, the best way is probably Instagram or Facebook, which is Lauren James Music as well.
Yeah, I think it's so important we talk about the website and talk about the merchandise, because that's how they can support you. That's how, everybody has bills to pay. Everybody's got, if they like what you're doing, buy something, support the artist. That's what it's about. So have you been doing any like Facebook Lives or anything like that?
I have, yeah. I did a few Facebook and Instagram Lives over the break. And those were a lot of fun. It was different though, because you're playing and nobody's reacting, because it's just you playing into a computer. So I definitely miss doing live shows, but I did do quite a few lives, and we'll probably continue in the coming weeks while we're inside.
Well, we'll watch for those, and we'll make sure we share them on our end as well. So,
thank you.
Yeah, Deb, anything you'd like to add?
I'm good. Just looking forward to the fall. Looking forward to your new music. I will tell you that. We'll be listening for it.
Yeah, it's so cool. Lauren James joining Skip Happens tonight in the Country Music Fan Club. It's such an honor to talk to you, and this is the first time we've had this opportunity and to meet face to face with the wonders of today's technology. And thank God we have it, because I don't know what we would have done 20 years ago if we didn't have this right now. So
right, it's
pretty cool, and it's a great way to get you as a new artist out there. And again, thank you for taking the time out of your Wednesday to join us. I know you could be doing it. Well, I don't know what you would be doing, because you really can't do much.
I would just be here.
Yeah.
Be here. That's all.
Just be doing this. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for having me on the podcast. This has been a lot of fun.
It is, and we try to keep it very informal and very, very low key, very one-on-one. We don't really script too much. And Deb gets mad at me once in a while.
Can you tell when we flub over each other? We're totally informal.
It makes it more fun though. It's more like live, it has that energy. Yeah.
I prefer that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Lauren, you're awesome. Don't stop doing what you're doing. Keep going. We're going to keep an eye out for your music. And really, if you're even thinking about making the trip, I mean, don't even think about it. Just hop in the car and come on up. We'll take care of you. All right. And of course, up here, we're in phase 2 now. And the pod zone, as long as we abide by the rules, we're good. We'd love to do something live and in person here. In as you can see, I have my own studio, and Deb, well, Deb's got her living room. But
right now, this is where I'm at. I'm in transition. Sometimes I'm on the deck.
Oh yeah, last time she was on the deck, her husband was cutting the grass. So you can imagine what that sounded like.
We heard the mowing. Get to the front, but I kind of got a little to the side. Whatever.
There goes Lou.
Very informal.
There goes Lou. Here comes Lou. So,
Anyway, thank you so much for giving us your time tonight.
yes.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Yeah, you're so sweet, and we'll keep in touch
Yes, I'll definitely talk to y'all very soon. Thank you.
very soon. It's Lauren Jaimes, everybody, right here with Skip Happens. And again, thank you for joining us. We're going to sign off now. There she is. I love her. Gosh, I love her.
Take
All right,
care.
y'all. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
See ya. Have a great